but I don't see it at all.
I saw it, then it went away.
Yeah, it flips over to it like it's going to show it, and it tells me it's showing it, but then it doesn't actually show up. Let me try something else here.
I have a question.
Did you say you had a question, Kaylee?
If for some reason that this doesn't, okay, there it is. Never mind.
I did nothing different except turn my mic on. Okay, so there it is. Okay, so now can everybody see? Lauren, can you hear? Lauren, can you hear me? Okay, good, Megan. Lauren, can you hear me? One, the highlighted structure is the lung. So now I'm going to go to slide 2 and hopefully it works. Can everybody see slide 2? Okay, so let me know if when I switch the slides you can't see, or if I type something on the screen you can't see. Okay, so just let me know that you can't see. All right, so we got the correct answer for this one. So let me put in a text box. These are the external nares. It is the nose, but we are looking specifically at the air passage there. So this one is going to be the external nares. Okay. What about our next one? As we get down in here into the throat, what is our next one going to be? Okay, it is the larynx, and I will accept, I think on the test it's matching. So larynx is correct, vocal folds also correct. And so I will take either one of those answers. So this one right here under the jaw is a larynx or vocal folds. Either one of those is acceptable. All right, moving on down. What do we have? This cartilaginous structure here, what is that called? Yes, correct. That is the trachea. Yes. Okay, and then our next one, it's pointing, kind of hard to see on this particular image, but it's pointing to these structures right here. So what would those be? Any of these structures. It doesn't specifically have to be these two. Yes, the bronchus or the bronchi. That is correct. So let me get those on the diagram. So my first one here is the trachea. And then down here, I'm going to have the bronchus or bronchi, or plural. Either one of those would be acceptable. Okay. And then what do I have at the end of all of those little branches? Let's see. What is that pointing to? Oops, I moved my figure here a little bit. Hang on. Let me move my figure back where he's supposed to be here. These little terminal structures that are pointing to here, we haven't made it to the alveoli yet. We are. Yes. Before we get to the alveoli, we get to the bronchioles. So that structure is actually looking at the bronchioles. On the test, the figure that you have will be a little bit, it'll be a little bit clearer for you to distinguish between the two. So that's going to be the bronchioles. And then down here, and really what would happen here, and this picture's been cut off here, is this is where the alveoli would be. So this little box here is pointing to the alveoli here. So right here.
I think it's froze again.
Is it really? No. It showed up what I taught. I can see alveoli that I just typed. Can y'all see that?
No.
I don't even see where you type bronchioles.
I don't either.
I don't understand. It's still showing up on my screen. I don't understand what's happening. This makes no sense. Okay. Alright, I'm going to unshare and share again. Alright, is it back now? Can y'all see it? Okay. Alright, so got the alveoli, and then this very last structure here, this kind of upside down U structure, what is that? Yes, that is correct. The diaphragm. Alright, so that takes us through our overall view of the respiratory system. So on the right side, we have the nasal conchae, external nares, the larynx or vocal folds there, the trachea, the bronchus or bronchi for plural. I'm not sure exactly how it's worded on the test. And we have the bronchioles, which are those terminal structures. And then we have the alveoli, which really aren't shown on this diagram, but will be on the test. And then we have the diaphragm there. All right. So I'm going to go to the next slide, and hopefully it goes with me. Everybody see the next slide? Yay! All right. So the first thing we've got here is at the very top of the lungs. So what are the very tops of the lungs called? Does anybody know that one? Yes, the apex. That is correct. So right here, where it's pointing to both sides at the top here, that is the apex of the lung that we're looking at. Now, the rest of this, if we look at the right lung, we're looking at the lobes of the right lung. So what are the 3 lobes of the right lung? Can you hear me? The 3 lobes of the right. Oh, I'm sorry. I see it now. It just popped up. Sorry about that. Yes, superior, middle, and inferior. Now, it's not indicated on this diagram that you don't have to label this, but what about the left lung? What are the lobes of the left lung? Does it have a superior, middle, and inferior lobe? No. Remember, the left lung has no middle lobe. It only has 2 lobes, the superior and inferior. So the right lung has 3 lobes, and the left lung only has 2. So let me get these up here. So my top lobe here is going to be my superior lobe. Okay, and I'm going to copy that. So we've got the superior lobe, middle lobe, and down here, the inferior lobe. All right. So now what do we have here at the bottom? Yes, we have the base. And then over here on the left lung, this little indention, what is it called? Yes, the cardiac notch. And what is the cardiac notch? What is it there for?
Where the heart sits, right?
Yes, that is correct. That's exactly right. That's where the heart sits. So the left lung has to have this little indention because remember the heart sits a little bit closer over on the left side, and so that's where the heart is going to be nestled right in there. So that's good. All right. So we're going to go to the next slide. Hopefully it works. And this is our histological slide that we have. All right, so this is the lung, okay, and you may be asked what this is, and so if you're asked what this is a slide of, this is a slide of the lung, okay, so this is lung tissue, and so we've got several structures that we are going to label here, so we're going to start over here on the right side. We've got these 3 little arrows over here, so what is this pointing to over on the right side? Those little circular structures there on the right side, what are those? Yes, that is correct. Those are the alveoli. All right, now, if we start moving over toward the left side, we've got this structure that's right here in the middle where this middle arrow is pointing to. So this structure here in the middle, that's leading to these different alveoli. So what is that going to be called? Yes, this blank area here, okay, that leads to the alveoli is our alveolar duct, okay, and it's sometimes you can get that confused with the bronchiole. The bronchiole is over here on the side. Notice that it's not really a duct. It's more of like an opening that leads to several alveolar ducts. So this structure over here on the left side, this more circular structure here, that's going to be a bronchiole. And then the branches off from that actually lead down to all of the alveoli is going to be the alveolar duct. And then we've got one remaining structure here, and it's a little bit harder to see on this magnification because you can't really see all of the different really layers of the wall, but what you're looking at there is a blood vessel. Okay, and what's in the middle there are blood cells. Okay, so this is long tissue, so you would need to identify this as long tissue, and then you would need to identify these structures. So the terminal structures, the little, remember the little clusters that look kind of like grapes, those are the alveoli. The open area to them would be the alveolar ducts. And if you trace the alveolar duct back up, you'll find the bronchiole. And then the other circular structure there is the blood vessel. Okay, so we're going to come to another histological slide here. So somebody tell me, what is this? Yes, that is correct. It is the trachea. And so for the trachea, we're going to look at two different types of tissue within the trachea. So somebody tell me, what is this first layer, the layer that actually is to the lumen where the air passes by? What is the first layer that you see there? What type of tissue is that? Yes, that is correct. PSCC. We've got pseudo, I don't know if I can spell it, pseudo stratified ciliated columnar epithelium. That's going to be our first layer of tissue here. And then, what is this huge, thick layer here in the middle? This lighter color, that's the thickest portion of this tissue. What is that going to be? Yes, Paige, that's correct. That is hyaline cartilage. So this really thick layer is hyaline cartilage. Yeah. All right. So you'll be asked to identify this as the trachea, and what you're going to look for to be able to identify this as the trachea is it's going to be a U-shaped structure, and you're going to see multiple layers of tissue, and you'll be able to identify that very thick layer of hyaline cartilage in the middle. All right, so we're moving on here. So what do we have here? Yes, these are the salivary glands, okay? And we need to label these 3 salivary glands. So what's this huge one right here in front of the ear? Yes, it is a parotid. Okay, so this is our parotid salivary gland here in front of the ear. And then we have these two here. Okay, so what is this one back here that's closest to the parotid gland? Yes, that is the submandibular. And then what is the other one? Yes, sublingual, because it's under the tongue. So let me get the labels on those. So I've got submandibular here. And sublingual here. Oops. So sublingual, remember, is the one kind of under the tongue. And so we could kind of picture that the tongue would be sitting above that one. And then the submandibular is the one that's kind of at the curve of the mandible. All right, so that's our salivary gland. So now we're going to get into the digestive organs. So we've got these images here of the digestive organs, and you're going to be asked to identify this kind of blue structure. So what do we have here? Yes, that is the liver. Well, I think some of it is going to be matching, Kaylee. And then if it's not, just do the best that you can. If you get close, you know I give credit. So here we do have the liver. Okay, so this structure is the liver. All right. And then next, the little structure beside the liver, what do we have? Gallbladder. And this person, they must have had some gallstones or something, because the gallbladder, not normally that pronounced, not normally that large there. They may have had some cystitis or something like that, because these pictures are taken from a real cadaver, so maybe he had some issues with his gallbladder. But yes, that is the gallbladder. To be perfectly honest with you, I haven't seen the test yet because Dr. Guillory made the test in Blackboard and then just exported it for me and Miss Arbuckle. And so I have not seen the test yet. I've got to get it uploaded into Blackboard so that I can actually see the test. But while you're on here, let's take a pause, and I think I can go into his class if I have it, and I can look at it. Let me see if I have his. I think I do. Let me look at his class right quick. We'll take a little pause. And I can tell you what I think will, what I can see. Okay, I'm looking, so give me a second. Okay. So it is going to be matching. All right, so some of it looks like, let's see. No, there's no matching. Hold on. I was looking at that as matching, but it's fill in the blank. It's going to be fill in the blank is what it is. There is some matching. I'm looking at a matching here. There's another matching. Blank. Another matching. I'll tell y'all which ones are matching. Hang on a second. All of these that we're looking at right now, these highlighted structures, these are all fill in the blank. So those are all going to be fill in the blank. Yeah, okay. So it looks like it's going to be majority fill in the blank. Okay. Oh, I wish you could, Kaylee. I wish. I definitely wish we could. So it looks like it's going to be fill in the blank. All right, so you're going to have the pictures. That'll be there. And so then you will, you'll fill in the blank from there. It looks like, let me take a look. So all of the ones that show the cadaver pictures, those are all fill in the blank. And all you have to do is list the organ that's on there. Okay. Then for the ones that have a lot of different structures, like the lung that we looked at, the parts of the respiratory tract that we looked at, the salivary glands that we looked at, those are all, they're going to be like a short answer, basically, or kind of like a fill in the blank, where you're going to put, you know, structure A is this, structure B is this. The picture's gone again. What about now? I minimized. Is my picture gone again? Let me stop sharing and try sharing again. Yeah, we're looking at the gallbladder, but let me come back. I don't know why this is not. Oh, here it comes. Okay, we have the gallbladder back. Okay, so these pictures are going to be like this, essentially. Okay, your histology pictures are going to be a little bit different. So, like the lung, it's going to look a tiny bit different, but you're still going to be able to recognize the alveoli. The trachea looks a little bit different. It's not stained quite as darkly. It's still stained roughly the same colors, but it's not quite as dark. But you can still clearly see the hyaline cartilage and all of that. Okay. As we get to the ones that are matching, I will tell you which ones. Okay, so now kind of going back here, what is this organ? Yes, this is the pancreas. Okay, so this organ here, and what you're seeing here basically is that the liver has been removed, and part of the intestine has been removed so that you can see the pancreas kind of sticking in there. All right. Okay, what do we have here? Yes. So the duodenum, remember, is part of the small intestine. It's that first little section. So this is the duodenum, just that little C-shaped curved structure. Notice it curves right around the head of the pancreas. Okay, so it curves right around the head of the pancreas. All right, what do we have next? Yes, this is the small intestine. You can see the mesenteries holding it in there. I like this picture. I think this is pretty neat. So this is the small intestine. Okay. I like these cadaver pictures. They're pretty neat. All right, so what about this one? What have we got here? This tiny little structure down there. Yes, this is the appendix. Remember, it's the vermiform or worm-like appendix, and so it just looks like a little worm stuck down there, inferior to the small intestine. So yes, this is our appendix. Okay. What about this? On this one. Yes, that is our ascending colon. I know that this is ascending because it is going up. Okay, so it goes up. So that is my ascending colon. What about this one? The part of the colon that goes across? Yes. Yeah, Erica and Paige both. Y'all have already been studying. Y'all ready to take the test tonight, right? So after we finish this, I can go ahead and let y'all take the test. I am going to give you the opportunity to take the test early. I'll talk about that after we get finished. All right, so going across the transverse colon. All right, and then coming down, we have the descending colon. Okay, so we have the descending colon. And then our last portion here, what is that? Yes, that is our sigmoid colon there. All right, so now we're going to move into some more histology. So let's get here. All right, so on this one, we want to just identify this particular, what I'm looking at here, what organ or what area and what structure I'm looking at here. So yes, this is a villus. Okay, this is a singular villus, singular for villi, and yes, we are looking at the GI tract here. This could be probably the small intestine, but it's really anywhere within the GI tract or the digestive tract, and so we are looking at a villus. And remember, that's the singular for villi. Okay, those are those finger-like folds that we see in the lining. Okay, so this would be the digestive tract or GI tract, and we're looking here at a villus. One other thing I'm going to point out while y'all are jotting this down, most of the test is going to be self-grading, and so it may tell you that you've missed some, but I'm going to go back and look at all of the spelling, because if you don't spell it right, it's going to count it wrong. But I just want you to know I will go back through and correct all of that, okay? All right, so what do we have here? Stomach and gastric pit. Yes, exactly. So this is the stomach, and we have that gastric pit there. Okay. So the stomach with the gastric pit. All right. So next, what organ am I looking at here? Correct. I'm looking at the small intestine, and what I'm asking for here on this one are the 4 layers of the intestinal wall. Working from outside in, so working from the outermost layer into the lumen, what are my 4 layers of the intestinal wall? Serosa? Yes. Okay, before we get to the muscularis, well, yes, we have the muscularis externa. Yes. And then submucosa, and then mucosa. So make sure you put the muscularis externa on there, okay? so this is the small intestine. And so I'm looking at the serosa out here, this tiny little layer right out here that you can barely see in this one. Okay. And then I've got the muscularis externa. Oh gosh, I mean to move the picture. Okay. The muscularis externa is here, and this kind of shows the this little bracket kind of needs to be pushed up a little bit because it's kind of got the serosa in it. So this little, okay, so this little bracket here is this pink stuff here. That's our muscularis externa. Didn't need to move that. Okay, and then this right here. I've messed with the picture now. This lighter colored here would be the submucosa. And then I've got all of this inner stuff where I find my villi, and that is going to be my all right. So make sure that you know those, and make sure when you put that muscularis externa in there. Okay. So the serosa, muscularis externa, submucosa, mucosa. So SM to help remember that, and that is the small intestine. Okay. What about here? What have I got here? What organ am I looking at again here? Yes, Kaylee, this is my small intestine. And what am I looking at? I've got it's pointing to those kind of clear looking round cells. What type of cells are those? It froze again. I haven't done anything. Is it on the picture with the small intestine, or did it freeze? Because I haven't typed anything yet. Let's see if I type something, if it'll work. All right. I don't know why we're having so many problems tonight. Too many people must be watching Hulu or something.
Because we're reviewing something important.
Probably so. All right, can you see it now? I've got the label of small intestine up there.
Yes.
Okay. Yay, it's working again. Okay, so this is my small intestine. So what? Yes, that is correct. They are goblet cells. So those kind of clear, almost transparent cells that you see there are the goblet cells. And you can see there's a whole bunch of these, not just the ones that are indicated there. But they look almost transparent, almost clear. They kind of stick out from the rest of the cells there. You can definitely see that there's a different type of appearance. All right, so what organ am I looking at here? All right, so this is the liver. All right, so what is this large structure that we've got outlined here? We've got the little bracket around it, but it's that hexagonal structure here. What is that? Yes, that is a lobule. So that is a liver lobule, that big structure there. Okay, so that is a liver lobule. So just look for that. It's kind of hard to bracket those because of their shape. All right, and then at the corner here, at this top area, what do we have up here, and then what do we have right in the middle? Yes, we have the central vein in the middle. And just keep in mind that central, middle. Okay, so the central vein is what is in the middle. And then on the corners, we have the triad. And what we're going to be looking for there is the portal triad on the corners there. All right. Sorry about that. My kiddo came in here. All right. So what organ do we have here? Yes, this is the pancreas. Okay. We are looking at the pancreas here. This one may look a little bit different on your test. This one's stained purple. Sometimes they're stained a little bit more pink. Okay, so just kind of watch it for that. Don't necessarily pay, perfect attention just to the color that's here because it may look a little bit different. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, on this one, let me look at your test right quick before I don't want to tell you wrong. Okay, so we've got on your actual test, we've got a little bit higher magnification on this. So it's not going to look quite like this, and it's also going to be stained more pink on your test, and it's going to be a much larger magnification. So just keep that in mind, that it's not going to look exactly like this, but you're just looking for those identifying structures, okay? So what is my structure all the way to the right that's kind of white, that's got these little whiter areas in it, all the way to the right? What is that called? Yes, that is my islet of Langerhans, or my pancreatic islet. Okay, so let me bring this over here. So that is the pancreatic islet, or the islet of Langerhans. Okay, and what you're looking for here is that it's going to be lighter than the surrounding area. It's going to have some white spaces within it. It's not going to be a solid structure. Okay, so that's what you're looking for on that one. All right, what are all of the other cells that surround our islets? Yes, correct, acinar cells. So all of these little clusters of cells that are going to be around the islet are the acinar cells.
Typed anything?
Okay. Have I what?
Have you typed anything?
Yes, I typed the pancreatic islet and the acinar cells.
Okay, it hasn't showed up on mine yet.
Okay.
The pancreatic islet is the one that's going to be like the pinkier lumen looking one, right?
The pancreatic islet is the one all the way to the right.
Okay.
But I'm going to try again. I don't know why it keeps doing this. Like you said, it knows that we're trying to go over something important. And my kids are fighting. I don't know if you heard the screaming a while ago, but my kids are fighting. Kind of, I understand this whole homeschooling thing and why you those of you that are parents trying to get your homework done. Oh, I can't imagine, because I know how hard it is to teach with mine around. So can you imagine what it's like to work on your homework? Oh man. Okay. So now can you see what I've typed, Kaylee?
No.
It's still not showing up that I've typed pancreatic islet and the acinar cells?
No.
Alright, let me stop it again. Alright, I'm trying. Hopefully, if it doesn't all work during the recording or during this, maybe it will work through the recording. If not, I can always add some voiceover while I'm putting it on YouTube. So, all right, can everybody see now on the speaker? Because on my screen, I can see it. I can see that I've labeled it the pancreas. I've got the pancreatic duct. I've got the acinar cells, and I've got the pancreatic islet on there. Can everybody see my labels? Okay, Megan can see. Erica can see. Kaylee, can you see my labels? No. I don't know how. I don't know why. Okay. Well, on this one, just label the one that's on the far right, that is like a perfectly round structure. It's got the little bracket around it. That's your pancreatic islet. And then the one in the middle, that's pointing to the different, that's got the double arrow there, that's the acinar cells. And then over all the way to the left, that's our pancreatic duct. And I put a little note here, and I'll type this out for you too, Kaylee. It may not always be this round. This one is a pretty large pancreatic duct, and it's kind of round in structure, but a lot of times they're squeezed. They look a little flattened. They look smaller. They're not as large as this. And so the one on your test is going to look a little bit different than this one. Okay. It's going to be a little bit smaller compared to the overall size of the islet and the acinar cells. It's going to be a little bit smaller.
You said the pancreatic islet. Can you write that out for me?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
That's the one to the right. Hopefully, we go to the next slide. We'll pick up and start working again. Hey, Laura, I'm going to talk about that at the end. We're going to talk about that. right, I'm going to the next slide. Hopefully it will work. So what organs do we have here? Yes, we have the kidneys. Kaylee, did it switch over to this? Can you see the kidneys? No. Okay, well, hopefully you can follow along on the recording, but the next image, those are the kidneys. Okay, they're highlighted green, bright green. It's like bright green jelly beans, like those pukey ones from that jelly bean game. That's what they look like. So those are our kidneys in our cadaver picture. And then we have another cadaver picture. What is that going to be in the next cadaver picture?
Bladder.
Yes, correct. It is the bladder. Yes. So you can put bladder or urinary bladder. Both of those would be acceptable. Okay, so we do see that as the urinary bladder. Kaylee, has it come back yet?
No, I was just trying to follow along on my side. Follow along on my slides.
Okay, well, you're right. You got it. It is the bladder. All right, so now we're going to go to the next one here. Okay, and as we look at this next one here, the first thing we're going to do is identify the organ. So what organ do I have here? Yes, this is the ureter. Okay, I know this is the ureter because it's small. The bladder looks very, very similar to this, but it would be a lot larger. Okay, and we wouldn't see as much adipose tissue around it. So yes, I have the ureter here. Okay, so my overall slide is the ureter. All right, and the big long arrow that it's pointing to the very center, what is that called? The hollow part. Yes, the lumen. We've covered that a lot. So that hollow part in the middle, that is the lumen. And the other arrow is pointing to a specific type of tissue. Yes, that is correct. It is transitional epithelium. Remember that transitional epithelium has the ability to stretch. Okay, so, whoops. So that is what we are seeing there. That's funny. All right, so now we're going to go to the next one, and we're going to look at the kidney. On your test, this particular image of the kidney, where you've got this sagittal section of the frontal section of the kidney. This is matching. Okay, so this one is going to be matching on your. All right, so what I'll do for labeling this one, we will start over here on the top right, and we'll come around. Is it better now, Kaylee? I had to mute for a second because my kiddo was talking. Can you hear me better now? Okay. All right, so I'm going to start at the top right and work our way around. So what is that first structure there, that kind of triangular shaped structure that we have there indicated at the top right? Yes. Okay, and what is the little section of tissue that goes in between our renal pyramids? Yes. So I've got renal pyramid at my first one. And then I come down, and the kind of areas of tissue that are in between my renal pyramids are referred to as the renal columns. Okay. Then I come on down to these two structures here, and what do I have there? Yes, that next structure is the minor calyx, and the next one is going to be the what? Major calyx. Yes. So the smaller one is the minor calyx, and the little bit larger one that drains two of the minor calyces is going to be the major calyx. So I've got my minor calyx first. And then I've got my major calyx next. Okay, and really this arrow kind of should be a little bit pointed a little bit further to show that it really is draining two of my minor calyces. All right, what is my last structure here on the right? Yes, correct. My renal or my fibrous capsule, both of those are correct. Either one. And I'm not sure, since this is a matching one, I'm not sure exactly what it says on the test. Yes, this one is matching page. All right, let's start over on the left side, and we'll start at the top on the left side. Okay, the top on the left side. This, what this arrow is pointing to, yes, this is the renal sinus. This is just that little cavity where we're going to find our blood vessels there. You can see that artery and vein kind of peeking in there. So that's going to be my renal sinus. All right, so my renal sinus here. Okay, and then my big structure here that's draining all of the calyces, yes, I've got my renal pelvis there. And then what is the purple structure, kind of where the circle is there? My hilum. So the purple structure is the hilum because it's showing that whole indentation. It's got that circular structure there. So that's going to be my hilum. So let me get that one on there. All right, and then what do I have next? Yes, the very tip of my pyramid is my renal papilla. And then what is the tube that leaves the kidney? Yeah, so our ureter there. That's going to be my last structure down here is the ureter. All right, so this one is matching on your test. All right, Kaylee, did you get all these as we went through them?
I'm still trying to type them.
Okay.
You said
Can you see
underneath
the
the
screen
renal
again?
sinus? No, it's still in the pancreas.
Okay, gotcha.
So
Underneath the renal
underneath the
sinus is the renal. You
what?
go ahead. You go ahead.
Go ahead.
What? I didn't know what you were saying. Underneath the renal sinus.
Oh, yeah. What?
Renal pelvis.
Then the hilum.
Yeah. Hilum. Hilum. I'm gonna try sharing it again, and then maybe it'll start working again.
Then the pilla, and then the
The renal
ureters,
papilla.
right?
And then ureters, yes. Well, it's showing that it's sharing, but it ain't sharing. I stopped it for a second to see if it would come back. Yeah, there it is. Kaylee, do you have it?
No.
No.
Maybe it's
Doesn't
mine.
make any sense. I don't know. It's weird. Does everybody else still have the kidney there? Was it fully labeled? Yeah. Okay. I don't know what's going on.
Should I try exiting and coming back to it?
Let me see if I can do something. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Okay. I made you a moderator. Did it come up now?
No. No, it's still in the pancreas.
Still on the pancreas. So that
I don't know if I've clicked something.
I can hear that there's a lag. Well, I hear that there's a lag too.
Should I try exiting it and then coming back onto it?
Yeah, that'd be the best thing. And see if you can get back in with us.
Okay.
So now we've got our nephron here, okay? So for the nephron, let's go ahead and take care of this structure that's all the way over to the right, kind of this brown structure all the way over to the right here. What is that going to be? Now you don't see it. Dadgummit.
I've got a black screen.
And you've got a black screen. All right. Let me try. All right, what about now? I've got the nephron. Erica's got the nephron. Kaylee, do you have the nephron?
Yes.
Yay! All right.
Mine.
So we're going to do the structure all the way to the right, that kind of brown structure. What do we have there? That the tubules all drain into. What is that structure all the way over to the right? Yes. So all the way over to the right here, I have the collecting duct. Okay. Now we're going to move towards the left. So I'm going to come up to the top. What is this funky purple structure here that connects to the collecting duct? Yes, I've got my distal convoluted tubule. And then the other purple kind of crazy structure is what? Yes. So the distal convoluted tubule is what connects to the collecting duct. And then my proximal convoluted tubule is the one on the other side. Okay. Now, connected to my proximal convoluted tubule, what do I have next?
Is it frozen again?
I was talking. Did y'all not hear me? I asked what the next structure was.
Oh, I can hear you. I just didn't know it.
Okay. Okay. I don't know what happened. I tell you. Okay, so we've got the glomerular capsule, and inside the glomerular capsule are that's inside there. That is our glomerulus. So my glomerulus is the structure inside there, okay? And then what is this long, skinny purple thing that we have there? Yes, correct. Our nephron loop or loop of Henle. Okay, so this is my nephron loop or my loop of Henle. And this one is not matching. This one is a short answer, fill in the blank type where you have to identify each of these structures. And you know what? If you want to put PCT and DCT, that's fine with me. That's a close enough answer. I know that you know what it is if you put PCT and DCT here. Okay. All right. We're going to go to the next one. Hopefully it works. Does everybody have the next slide? Yay. All right. So what is this? What organ am I looking at here? Yes, I am looking at the kidney. Okay. What are the two structures that are kind of circled there? The two different areas that are circled. What are those? Yes, those are my kidney tubules. So, my organ is the kidney. And these two circular structures, or these two circled structures here are the kidney tubules. Okay, and then what is my other structure here that's got the bracket? Yes. Okay, that is glomerulus. And really it's the entire structure. Glomerulus is fine, but typically when we put the capsule with the glomerulus, we call it the renal corpuscle. So I'm not sure what he's got on the test. So as long as you put one of those two things, then that will be okay. All right, so go on to the next one here. This is the cross section of the male pelvis. This is a matching question. This is a matching question. And since there are so many of these, I'm just going to go ahead and start typing in here. Okay, so this little structure that is cut is our ductus deferens or vas deferens. Okay. Then I've got the next one over here on the right is going to be the seminal vesicle. Did I spell it right? That doesn't look right to me. There we go. Put too many C's in there. Okay. So the seminal vesicle, and then my next one over here to the right is going to be our prostate gland, the larger structure. Oops. And then my next structure, that is pointing to the little structure there that goes through the prostate gland. So that's going to be my ejaculatory duct. Okay. And then my last one over here on the right is going to be the bulbourethral gland. Okay. It's frozen again. You can't see what I'm typing. Now, I'll type it in the chat box over here. So starting at top right, we have the vas deferens, seminal vesicle, prostate gland, ejaculatory duct, and bulbourethral gland. Alright, so now I'm going to go on over. Oh, no, I lied. I don't know what I was thinking. Sorry, the top right is the ureter. I'm sorry. Not vas deferens. It's on the left side. Let me fix that. My ureter is at the very top right, and then over at the top left, that one is my vas deferens. Sorry about that. And then I've got my urethra. There. And then penis is next. It's not highlighting the entire structure, okay, but that's what that one is. And then next is the epididymis. And then I have the glands. And then the prepuce. The external urethral orifice. Is next. And then I have the testis. Next. And then the scrotum is the last one on the left. Alright. Okay, did everybody get all those? We're almost done. Alright. So now we're going to go to a couple more histologies here. So what is this? What organ or what area of the body would this be? You know what you're looking at here. Yes. The seminiferous tubule. Okay. And so we've got the seminiferous tubule here, and what we're looking at here are labeling the different types of cells that are found here. Okay, so what do I have over on the left side? Over on the left side. I have the spermatogonia over on the left side. And here's how I know that these are the spermatogonia. They're all the way up against the edge. They're as far away from the lumen as possible. Okay, so that's how I know that these are the spermatogonia, because they're the ones that stay there right at the edge of the seminiferous tubule. Okay, so now I'm going to be working my way in. Okay, so if I start over on the right side, okay, if I start over on the right side over here, then I'm going to have have, oops, but my primary spermatocytes first. They're going to be not all the way at the edge, but a little bit in. And then next is going to come the secondary spermatocytes. They're a little bit closer to the lumen. And then finally, as I look toward the lumen, I can actually see my spermatids. Okay, so you have to look, when you're looking at this structure on your test, you have to determine where you are in relation to the lumen. Okay, so on the left, we have spermatogonia. And then on the right, we have primary spermatocytes, secondary spermatocytes, and then spermatids. All right, so now we're going to go to our next one here. And what do I have here? What is this slide of? Yes. And what are the 3 parts of each sperm? The head, the midpiece, and the tail. Correct. That is correct. So you will identify this as a sperm smear, and then you will tell me the 3 parts, which are head, midpiece, and tail. All right, so I've got the frontal section here of the female reproductive tract. This is going to be a matching question. So the female reproductive tract here is going to be matching. And so I'm going to go through this one with you. I'm going to start, I guess, over on the right here. So let me keep going here, because there's a lot to label on this one. So I'm going to start over here. This is going to be my ovarian ligament. Okay, you can see the ovarian ligament. It is attached to the ovary and is anchoring it to the uterus. Okay, then I've got another ligament poking out from there. That is my round ligament. Okay, so that next ligament there, that is my round ligament. And then I'm going to come down here to the side. That is going to be my cervix. Okay. And then this one is not, oops, did not mean to do that. Sorry about that. My next one here is not labeled, okay? But down here I have the vagina or the vaginal canal. Okay, so that one doesn't have a little arrow or anything pointing to it, but that's what that is. And then starting, kind of going up the left side, the opening here to the cervix is external os. Then I have the cervical canal, still moving up on the left side, starting at the bottom and going up. I have the cervical canal, and then I have the internal os. Okay. And then next comes my 3 layers of the uterine wall. So my innermost layer is the endometrium. And then my next layer is the myometrium. Okay, so I have the endometrium. Then the thickest layer, the middle portion of the wall, is the myometrium. Remember, that's muscle. And then I have the periometrium as my outermost layer. Okay. Then I'm going to start working on my uterine tube and labeling the different parts of the uterine tube there. So the little finger-like projections that I have at the end of the tube, those are my fimbriae. Okay. Then I have that kind of wider portion there. That is my infundibulum. Okay, so this wider portion is the infundibulum. I'm going to follow this around to the top. Okay, so I've got the infundibulum at the top, and then moving over, I have the next little section of the fallopian tube, which is the ampulla. And then my next section of the fallopian tube is the isthmus. Okay. And then I have the fundus of the uterus here, right in the middle. And then I have the entire structure of the fallopian tube over there on the top, the very top there. And then I have to label the ovary. It doesn't have a little line for it, but I'm just going to type it right over the structure. I've got the ovary. All right. So I'll leave that up for a second. Kaylee, do you have this one at all? Is this one showing up for you?
Yes, I'm just trying to type it.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure you could see it because it was a lot. Can everybody else see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I got one more and then we're done. But this one is a matching. Okay, so this female reproductive here is a matching. So you'll have all of these things for you. You'll just have to put them in the right place. All right, just let me know when you get through and I'll go to the very last one. I don't care. I can't eat too many of these because I gotta have that swallow. Is everybody else done? Okay, Lindsay, just let me know when you're done. No rush. I don't want to move until everybody's done. Is everybody else done? All right, I'm gonna move on to my last one. All right, this is what organ do I have here? Yes, I have the ovary here. And so what we're going to be labeling here in this structure are the different follicles that we see that appear. Okay, so the first one here, these teeny tiny ones, what are our teeny tiny follicles called? What is that first one there called? The teeny tiny one. Yes, the primordial. All right, so my first one, my teeny tiny one here, is my primordial follicle. All right, then they get bigger. So what is my one that's next to it that gets a little bit bigger? First I have primordial, and then I have what? I have primary. Yeah. So I have my primary. And then after primary comes make that a little bit bigger so you can see it. Yes, after primary comes secondary. And after secondary comes what? This huge one over here. You're right. What is that huge one there? Yes, the Graphian or mature. If you put mature, that works for me too. So Graphian or mature follicle. Okay, so the Graphian or mature follicle. And what is that arrow pointing to? I've only got it pointing to it in the mature follicle there. But what is that structure within the follicle that the arrow is pointing to there? What is that structure in the follicle? Yes, that is my egg. That is my oocyte. That's what's actually going to be released when that follicle ruptures and I get ovulation. So this over here is my oocyte. All right. And that's the end. Oh, don't be scared, Kaylee. You got time. You got time to study before this, and now you've got all the right answers. It's relatively short. There are a few long ones, but your big long ones are matching. So you don't have to worry about, typing all of that stuff in. It is matching. You have a lot of cadaver photos, and those are easy because that's just identifying the organ. So that's an easy one. Okay. All right. So before we leave,